That's a good question. I can't remember actually where the initial instigation came from. I suppose it's just because we thought that there might be another Johnny English movie to be made, and we started to develop a script. And we went down one alleyway with a script which didn't seem to work, and then we went down another one, which was what we ended up with. And I think, it just felt like a fun idea. Felt like a fun idea of this analog versus a digital story. With Johnny English at the centre of it, and it inspired me enough, certainly, to believe, and Universal, sufficiently to believe that there was a movie there to be made, and I think the movie that we've ended up with actually is pretty good. Is that the biggest chance of his career? I think, yes, it is. But, the strange thing is that I don't think Johnny English thinks about the challenge so much. All he wants to do is to be a spy. All he wants to do is have a fantastic car and wear lovely suits and go to exotic locations. That's all he's thinking about. Who the enemy is, I'm not sure he cares that much. Yeah, he just wants to enjoy the process. And, of course, he enjoys it far too much. That his ambition is greater than his skill, and that's the joke of Johnny English, is that he's not as good as he thinks he is, and we enjoy seeing him fail to achieve his ambitions. Although, rather bizarrely, in every Johnny English movie, at the end of the movie, he wins. So. Well, the secret is that we're writing the script, so we can make him do whatever he wants, whatever we want, and we obviously want him to win. But I think you can believe. I think he's a believable character. I think you can believe that someone like him, who isn't all that good at his job, but will succeed. Because even though he's not very good at his job, he's got tremendous determination and courage. Actually, he doesn't care. He really will, walk into the lion's den and fight the lion. He's very courageous and very persistent. So that's why he wins. He wins through almost the blindness of his ambition. He doesn't look left and right, he just looks straight on. Well, James Bond is very good at his job, whereas Johnny English isn't. But I think Johnny English shares a determination with James Bond. I think he shares a courage, even though his courage is more foolish than James Bond. But I think he's. I think Olga does a fantastic job of playing the part that she does, because I think it's very difficult acting opposite Johnny English, because she, any intelligent person can see that he's not very good and that he's weird sometimes, and he is overambitious and he oversteps himself. But I think what most people see in Johnny English is, there is a sweetness, or at least there's a sort of childishness there at the centre of Johnny English. He is like a teenager. He is like a child in a sweet shop. You get the impression that that's the way he is, and so you can see the vulnerability of Johnny English, and I think that's probably quite an endearing thing, and that may be how playing a character opposite him you can make things work. I don't know. I think that we may do another Johnny English movie, but I doubt it. I think it's unlikely. But, you must never say never, so I'm not going to say never. But I think it unlikely. There's a slightly greater chance, I think, of making a Johnny English movie than making a Mr. Bean movie. But, maybe I'll be proved wrong and we'll make both, or neither. Oh, I see. No, I don't feel any responsibility. Well, if I have helped to keep a visual comedy in people's experience, then I'm very pleased with that. But I only do it because I like to do it and because I can do it. And there isn't. I think the thing that worries me about comedy is an awful lot of comedy now is very adult. I mean, the good thing about John English movies or Mr. Bean movies is they're family movies, and people of any age can watch them, whereas most comedy films, certainly movie comedies now, they're more adult, and unless they're animation. You know, lots of animation family movies, but not many live action ones. And I'm pleased that with Johnny English and movies like that, that we can, that we can maintain that wide appeal, that family appeal. There's always a possibility.
Anyway.
There's always a possibility, but it's difficult, actually. I find the job of playing Mr. Bean quite stressful. I find it quite sort of, I always feel as though I'm not doing something as good as it could be done. So the perfectionist in me makes playing Mr. Bean tricky. So I don't, I think it's unlikely that I would do some more Mr. Beans, but yet again, never say never.